I never imagined that something as harmless as a simple movie night could threaten the life I had built for years. Not the kind of danger you see in action films or thrillers. Nothing dramatic, nothing loud. This danger was quiet, soft, polite. It smiled, it waved, and it lived just a few feet away from my front door. My name is Sara Mitchell, and until a few months ago, my life was steady, predictable, stable. I lived with my husband, Michael, in a peaceful neighborhood in Colorado, one of those places where the streetlights glow softly at night and the neighbors know that by names of each other's dogs. Michael worked as a project manager, always buried under deadlines and pressure. He was a good husband, a loving man, but tired, constantly tired. Between late-night emails and early morning meetings, I sometimes felt like his job had more of him than I did. That evening, everything felt normal. Maybe too normal. I had just finished preparing dinner, roasted chicken with mashed potatoes. The smell filled the kitchen, a warm reminder of the quiet life we lived. Michael walked in, shoulders slumped, tie loosened, exhaustion written all over his face. "Long day?" I asked gently. "You have no idea," he mumbled, kissing my forehead before collapsing into a chair. His phone vibrated again, and he immediately reached for it. I watched him stare at the screen with the same drained expression he'd been wearing for months. Sometimes I wondered if he even tasted the meals I cooked. Sometimes I wondered if we were slowly drifting into being roommates instead of partners. But I never said it out loud. Life felt predictable, comfortable, and maybe dangerously quiet. That's when our neighbor appeared. It was almost cinematic, like someone had rehearsed the timing. A knock, a friendly voice, a smile that looked too confident. Evan Parker, our next-door neighbor, stood at the door holding a pizza box and waving as if he were the star of a commercial. He was charming, everyone said that. Tall, fit, always well-dressed, and always carrying himself like he knew exactly what to say to make people feel at ease. He and his wife, Nina, had moved in 6 months before. Nina, a traveling nurse, was barely home. Evan, a real estate agent, was always around, always visible, always offering a helping hand. "Evening, Sara," he said with a grin. "Michael, I was just about to watch a movie in my home theater. New projector, new sound system. Thought maybe you two would want to join." Michael lifted his head, tempted but tired. "Movie?" "It's a mystery thriller," Evan added, raising his eyebrows. "And I have extra snacks." "Come on, it'll be fun." I glanced at Michael. This was the kind of evening he used to love. Movies, snacks, laughing over plot twists. Before the stress, before the overtime, before he started coming home looking like a dimmed version of the man I married. "Maybe it'll help you relax," I said softly. Michael sighed, rubbed his temples, and finally gave in. "All right, why not?" Evan's smile widened. "Great. Come over whenever you're ready. I'll set everything up." He walked away, leaving the warm scent of pizza behind. Michael dragged himself off the chair, and we finished dinner quickly before heading over. As we stepped into Evan's house, something struck me immediately. It was spotless, almost unnaturally perfect. Every cushion straightened, every picture frame aligned, every surface polished. His living room felt like a showroom rather than a home. "Wow," Michael said, genuinely impressed. "You've turned this place into a theater." Evan laughed. "Told you. Come, sit." He dimmed the lights, and the room glowed with the soft flicker of the projector. The opening credits rolled across the wall. The suspenseful music echoed through the surround speakers. I sat between Evan and Michael. Michael leaned back, eyes already half closed from exhaustion. Evan leaned forward, elbows on his knees, fully engaged. For the first half of the movie, everything felt normal, peaceful even. We shared popcorn, laughed at the dramatic jump scares, and joked about the unrealistic plot twists. But little by little, something started to feel off. It was in the way Evan glanced at Michael when his phone buzzed, in the way he asked, "Rough day at work?" with a tone that felt too familiar, in the way he said, "That man needs a break," as if he had been watching us for longer than I realized. Halfway through the movie, Michael's phone buzzed again. He groaned. "I have to take this, sorry." He stood up and stepped outside the living room, and suddenly the silence felt heavy, not awkward, not uncomfortable. Just charged. The movie continued playing, but my attention wasn't on the screen. Evan leaned back, stretched his arms lazily, and said in a quiet voice, "He works too much, you know." I nodded, unsure how to respond. "He looks exhausted every day," Evan continued. "Must be tough on you, too." I swallowed. "Yes, but he manages." "And so do you," Evan murmured. The way he said it made something tighten in my chest. Not because he was being inappropriate, but because it felt like he was looking into a life he had no place stepping into. "I noticed things," he added softly, "that disturbed me more than anything he had said so far." Before I could reply, Michael returned, apologizing for the interruption. The tension eased slightly, but something inside me stayed alert. We finished the movie. Evan insisted we take the leftover snacks. We thanked him and walked home in silence. When we reached our porch, Michael sighed deeply. "He's a good guy," he said. "Maybe too good," I whispered without thinking. Michael looked at me. "What do you mean?" I shook my head. "Nothing. I'm tired too." He kissed my forehead and went upstairs to shower. I stayed downstairs, lost in thoughts I couldn't put into words. My phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. "Did you reach home safe?" "Good night, Sarah." I froze. My breath caught, my heart hammered. No name, no emojis, nothing obvious. But I knew. I knew exactly who it was, and that was the moment I realized. This wasn't just a movie night. This was the beginning of something quietly dangerous, something that would push my marriage to the edge. My hands trembled as I stared at the message glowing on my screen. "Did you reach home safe?" "Good night, Sarah." It was simple. Polite, nothing openly inappropriate. But the timing, the tone, the unspoken familiarity, it chilled me. I locked my phone quickly, almost as if I could trap the message before its meaning seeped deeper into my thoughts. I didn't want to overthink. I didn't want to assume. Maybe he was just being extra friendly, extra careful. But something inside me whispered, no, this wasn't normal. This wasn't casual. Upstairs, I could hear Michael moving around, closing drawers, stepping into the shower, water running steadily. He was tired, distracted, stressed, and completely unaware of the shift happening in the shadows of our quiet neighborhood. I placed my phone face down on the kitchen counter and inhaled deeply. Don't jump to conclusions, I told myself. But the truth was, the message didn't feel like a conclusion. It felt like a beginning. The next morning, the sun filtered softly through our bedroom curtains. Michael was already gone, his typical Saturday routine. He always left early for just a few hours of catch-up work that somehow turned into half the day. I found his half-drunk cup of coffee on the kitchen table and a note saying, "Back by noon. Love you." It should have comforted me. Instead, it heightened my unease. I sat at the table, sipping my tea when my phone buzzed again. For one terrifying second, I thought it would be Evan. But it wasn't. It was Nina, his wife. A rare occurrence. Nina. "Hey, Sarah. You home today? I'm flying out again tonight, but wanted to drop off some banana bread." I blinked at the message. Banana bread? Nina was one of the kindest people on the street. Soft-spoken, warm, always smiling, but always on the go. Her job had her traveling more often than being home, and that, for the first time, worried me. I typed back quickly. "Me. Yes, I'm home. Come by anytime." 20 minutes later, the doorbell rang. I opened the door to find Nina standing there with a neatly wrapped loaf of banana bread and her usual bright smile. But today, something felt different. She looked tired. More tired than someone who had slept 8 hours should look. "Morning," she said cheerfully. "Hey, you look exhausted," I replied. She laughed. "I always do. Comes with the job." We chatted for a few minutes. Small talk, nothing heavy. I asked about her flight schedule. She asked about my weekend plans. But then, right when the conversation shifted to how long she would be gone this time, her expression changed slightly. "I'll be away for 4 days," she said softly. Something about the way she said it made my stomach knot, almost as if she didn't want to leave, almost as if she knew something. Or maybe I was imagining everything because of one text message. But then Nina asked something unexpected. "Evan didn't bother you last night, did he?" My breath caught. "Bother me?" I asked slowly. She laughed it off instantly. "Oh no, nothing serious. It's just, he gets lonely when I'm gone. Talks too much at times, over-socializes." Her words were harmless. Her tone was casual. But her eyes, they held a flicker of something else. Concern? Sadness? Fear? I couldn't tell. I didn't mention the text. I didn't want to create problems between them. Maybe it was harmless. Maybe it was just friendliness taken a bit too far. After she left, I sliced into the banana bread and tried to distract myself. But my thoughts kept circling back to the same point. Why would she ask that? Why last night? Why now? Before I could unravel the puzzle, my phone buzzed again. This time the name on the screen made my heart thump painfully. "Evan Parker." The message was short. "Morning. Hope I didn't keep you both up too late." Both? Why specify that? Why message at all? I sat there staring at the text, unsure what to do. Reply? Ignore? Tell Michael? Tell Nina? I didn't have answers. What I did have was a growing sense of something shifting, quietly, invisibly, beneath the surface of my daily life. A second message arrived before I could decide. If Michael's free later, I can help him fix that loose gate hinge I noticed yesterday. The gate hinge? The one between our yards? I hadn't told Evan about it. Michael hadn't either. So how did he know? My heartbeat grew louder in my ears. Evan wasn't just friendly. Evan was observant. Too observant. Watching things. Noticing things. Things I hadn't realized he was close enough to see. I put my phone down and stepped back from the counter. For the first time since moving here, my home, the place that always felt safe, warm, predictable, suddenly felt exposed. Like someone was standing too close to the window, seeing parts of our life we never invited them to see. Just then, the front door opened. Michael walked in, rubbing his forehead. I came home early. My head's pounding. He kissed my cheek, walked past me, and sat heavily on the couch. I stared at my phone. At the messages, at the subtle beginning of something dangerous. I opened my mouth to say something, to warn him, to share what I'd felt. But the words got stuck. He looked so tired, so worn out, so fragile in his own stress. I couldn't add one more worry to his shoulders, at least not yet. So instead I said, "Let me get you some water." My voice trembled slightly as I walked away. Behind me, my phone buzzed again. I didn't have to look. I knew who it was. And I knew this was only the beginning. The danger hadn't arrived loudly. It had slipped in quietly. With a smile. A message. With a smile. A message. And a movie night that should have been harmless. But nothing about this felt harmless anymore. Please subscribe and comment, and love you all my subscribers.